culture. Everything is permitted.
Welcome to episode 70 of Everything is Permitted here at Wade's Comic Madness. I'm your captain and host, Julian Brown, alongside my co-host, the Man of Steel, Matt Reppert, and the master of puns, Brittany Tomes. Why the hell are you holding a brown ET?
Elliot.
Oh my God.
Julian.
The things that we find recording in the basement at Wade's never ceases to amaze.
You all can't see it, but there is a lot of crap down here right now. Holy shit.
Because Wade got in a collection. R.I.P. the person that passed away.
R.I.P. the guy that died. Really sad, but holy shit.
Was he a collector?
The toys that are down here. I see in my line of sight Red Hulk, Iron Man,
There's a Thor.
Maleficent, Thor.
Jack Skellington.
Let's see. Oh, the Teenage Mutant
All
Ninja
the
Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, Skeletor and Jack
Funko
Sparrow.
Pop?
Wait, hold up.
I'll
buy that shit right now.
Well,
I will buy those.
we have to ask
I'll just put that aside.
I will let Joe know that you're interested in buying it.
I want that. Just that
Just
bag.
the whole bag.
Just that bag.
And some 1 in 12 figures. A figure from Sandman, the whole Firefly crew, and this ceramic E.T., whose eyes and
I am a leaf on the
finger
wind.
are painted. Not sure if it was supposed to come
I
that way.
think the finger is actually naturally painted because that's his
glowy- yeah, his glowy finger.
Yeah.
They did not use good paint on that, though.
No, it's not a good paint
It's pretty
job.
faded.
Look at his back wrinkles.
But you know who
I wonder
can't-
what his butt looks like.
You know who
This
could...
is his
Oh, that is his butt. That's right.
I was going to say...
Where
you
does
know-
he poop?
He's naked.
You know
He's
who
an alien. He doesn't abide by our bowel system.
You know who could paint it, though? Brittany.
Brittany
Shameless
could paint.
plug.
Shameless plug.
Tomes of Creation.
Yeah, it's going really well. I have people like messaging me on Facebook and stuff that are like asking for me to do commissions for different figures.
You're about to paint the lion cat from Saga, and
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see the
and
finished
that one's a
product.
statue,
Yeah.
a limited edition statue. So I'm like, thank you for trusting me and my steady hand
Yeah.
to bring you joy. That sounds weird. Cut that part out. Thank you for trusting me and my steady hand to do your figure right.
I'm looking at you, and like your head is about 3 times wider because you're rocking new headphones this week. It's throwing
yeah.
me off a little bit.
Yeah, I brought my at-home headphones.
Studio headphones.
My
They're pretty
studio.
baller. We're back after a week off because I was sick and thought I had COVID. I actually had bronchitis, which thank God. Whoever says thank God for having bronchitis is this guy, because COVID would have sucked. But negative test, so joy. So we have a lot to talk about this week. It was supposed to be Comic-Con weekend. Obviously, no one is at Comic-Con because of COVID. Instead, they're doing Comic-Con at home. Our EIP correspondent from the West Coast, Heather Borjon, will be joining us to talk about what has happened, the very little that has happened at San Diego Comic-Con at home. We'll be talking about that in odds and ends. And then Xbox also had their big game showcase on Thursday, I believe. And we'll be going over all the games that we saw there, including Xbox had a pretty interesting announcement about Game Pass.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about that as well. Finally, we didn't get to talk about the amazing season finale of Snowpiercer last week. So we're going to be talking about it this week because the train provides. And this pod provides. So
Dun, dun, dun. Name of the episode.
name of the
Maybe?
episode. Announcements. With multiple sicknesses in my household, we unfortunately didn't have time to record any Patreon bonus pods for this month. So thank you, patrons, for being understanding. But that just means you're going to get 2 in August. I already have one planned with Eric from Geeks with Kids. We're going to be talking about Ghost of Tsushima, and not necessarily all about the game, but the idea that we don't probably like need an Assassin's Creed game in Feudal Japan now, because this is kind of like basically the same thing and maybe even better. And we're going to discuss whether we would still want one or not. Maybe Matt will join us for that one as well if he plays
I'm down.
Ghost of Tsushima before. Maybe Brittany too, because you're playing the game. Maybe we'll all be there. I think we will.
Maybe. Depends on how
Maybe.
fast I can finish it.
And, got to get to Last of Us 2. I'm still...
I was about to play it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
My streaming wasn't working. It was a whole thing.
How did Ghost of Tsushima take you away from Last of Us 2?
Because she made a promise to an actor.
Hold on. Shameless plug. Sumali Montano plays Yuna in Ghost of Tsushima. Love her to death. Amazing. But I found out she was going to be in the game, and I was already planning on getting it. But when I found out for sure she was in the game and she like unveiled her character, I was like, I am getting this, and I am playing it as soon as it happens. Because we don't get games like this often, and I want to support that cast, man. I want them to get more roles.
It is a fantastic game, and yeah.
I'm
glad that we all started playing at the same time, except for Matt.
I have no regrets, except for my Wi-Fi
Called
cut
out.
To be totally fair, I don't know if my PlayStation works because my dog crapped on it. I had told that.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
dog. I
That's
forgot.
when you decide you need a new entertainment system, ladies and gentlemen.
That's when shit hits the PS fan. That's funny on like
Let's see if
two
I hit the
levels.
right button. Yes.
Yes.
Also, we didn't get to do Bargain Bin this month either because this just been the month from hell. So that will be back this coming month in August. And then finally, just a programming alert looking ahead to September 1st. That'll be our last episode of season 3. And we'll take a nice little month, maybe a little longer than a month break. And we'll be back for season 4 tentatively on October 6th. So, yeah. If you want all the fun access, like 24-hour early access to Raiders of the Bargain Bin, or those bonus pods, Brittany, how can people support the show?
You can head over to everythingispermitted.com, hit our little Patreon tab, which will shoot you over to our Patreon, which has 2 different tiers. You got $2 a month, $5 a month, and they give you access to a lot of really cool content, like Julian mentioned. Also, you get a free sticker when you join, and you get a little shout out down the bottom. We tell you thanks, kind of like the following people I'm going to thank.
Ooh, I like it.
Segue. Call me Paul Blart Mall Cop. Because that was a segue.
Wow, that was a reference.
Wow,
I was laughing
Brittany.
before I even said
Wow.
it.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
That was, yeah, there we go.
Wait, can I tell you guys a fun fact, which I hope I didn't mention before? Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Back when I was teaching film, when I was a teacher, oh my God. One of my students showed me, we watched this side by side to prove it, but if you play Dark Side of the Moon and Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, they match up perfectly.
You mentioned this like a few
Okay.
months ago.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like it was mentioned.
Okay, but I just had to let whoever might have just hopped on recently, good God, it's true.
That's actually
they
terrifying.
did that on purpose,
You know,
I
just
swear.
just in case you wanted to watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, and
I can only say I watched it because I had to see if that theory was correct. I didn't even see the first one. But anyway.
the Paul Blart Cinematic Universe.
Oh my God. Imagine such a thing. What have you done, Matthew? What have you done?
So to all of our VIP members or patrons that are more than a work of Blart,
Jesus Christ.
I want to say,
Shame. Shame.
I want to say thank you to Billy Peets, Heather Reppert, Rob Migliaccio, Michael Cox, Nikki Veazey, Matt Moore, Cabrera Wimbush, Rob Carter, and Anthony Matarese.
Yay, we love you, Eveeps. Yay.
And I didn't do a weird voice this time.
No, you didn't. That's okay. You made all the Paul Blart jokes that we'll ever need for like 10 seasons of this show.
I hate that I did. I don't even like it.
I hate you for doing it. All right, guys, let's get into some rants and raves. Who's got stuffs?
My rave is just Ghost of Tsushima is beautiful, and it's like oddly calming while playing it. Do you believe it?
That is what I'm doing to
it's not
relax right
stressful.
now.
Yeah,
No.
it's such a relaxing game. I'm like, this is more relaxing than Animal Crossing was for me.
It's a beautiful game, partly because you spend half your time in photo mode taking like
And
beautiful
running
Zen
around.
pictures, and you write haikus in the game.
You do. I love that part.
Apparently, someone sent them to like haiku experts, and they're like, no,
No.
no,
Yeah, they're not really good,
they're not good.
but they get you headbands sometimes.
They do. The headbands
headband
are
of
cool.
serenity.
I'm wearing the headband of death, which is white and has like a Japanese symbol, and it's like blood stained. It's really cool, and it's like
it.
white, and I have the whole white dye outfit. So I'm just like,
I'm currently
the real
wearing
Ghost.
the Warrior of Tsushima, like the full set. 'cause
Oh,
I
nice.
bought digital
Yeah, me
deluxe,
too.
and I was like, I didn't realize I got this, but I'm running around rocking it.
funny question: when you had to choose your horse, did you choose the digital deluxe
Yeah.
horse or a different horse?
I did choose digital deluxe because at first I was going to choose the black horse
See-
because I was like, that shit's aesthetic. But at the time, the first time I played through, I was streaming it for our page before. Apparently, it didn't install correctly, so that's why it glitched out. So I reinstalled it. But I asked people as I was streaming, I was like, oh, which should I choose? And as I was going up to each horse and like showing them, I saw it said digital deluxe only, and I was like, well, no, I got it. And I named him Nobu.
I named my Nobu too.
It means trust.
It does. That's like, I don't know if I want to get this game anymore.
It's relaxing.
I
when
couldn't
kill
choose.
people.
I couldn't choose the digital deluxe horse because that black horse is freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to be my
That's
horse.
my only regret in life is that I'm just like, should I have chose digital?
You should not
deluxe?
have. No, you shouldn't.
Well, right now I'm playing it on my own without streaming. Just
Me too.
because I'm taking all in. And I realized people will probably think it's boring if I run around in photo mode all the time, which is going to be 90% of my game.
Shameless plug, if you want to follow a really cool Instagram handle that is posting some really awesome Ghost of Tsushima screenshots, I think that is actually the Twitter handle, is
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima screenshots. So check them out. Some of our stuff's up there.
Pics or it didn't happen.
Exactly.
I had one other tiny
Hit it.
rave. My rave is just that my little side painting business, Tome of Creation, is going really well. And there's people that are other customers at Wade's that are asking me to paint like their HeroClix figures, or not HeroClix, Marvel Crisis Protocol figures, and some other stuff. Like a friend is having me paint that statue of Lion Cat from Saga. But I've even had people reach out to me that I don't know on the internet because I've listed my services on like Fiverr for a few different things like translation, voice over, and
Fiverr's
painting.
good. That's how we got our intro music.
Ooh.
Yep.
But yeah, so I got to paint that one Overwatch figure, Zenyatta, 2 of them.
Dude, you're killing it. I've
I
seen
am.
your stuff. It's awesome.
Hey,
Really
doing
fun.
really good.
So I just let people know, I'm like, my prime times of painting are like Sunday through Tuesday. But regardless, I just let people know, like, whenever you give it to me, within 2 days it'll be done. Because
Yeah.
it just depends, like, if one day is working, then
Yeah.
the other day I'll be painting. But I love it. I'm doing all my little nerdy hobbies. Finally playing video games again.
Yay. I got to see your nerdy room yesterday.
Oh yeah,
And
you came over and I was
it
like,
was,
look at my closet.
yeah, it was awesome. And like all your video game backlogs, and yeah, it was really weird. Like you never really like, do you want to see my closet? And I'm like, had that been asked to anybody else who didn't know what you did to your closet, that would have been maybe a little weird. But I was like,
Yeah.
yes, I would like to see your closet, Brittany.
And it was fun. There was
was.
foam everywhere. There's a nice setup. I recently got those little sticky clips that you can put all your cords through so they're not like out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's aesthetic. It's getting better.
Nice.
Maybe one day I'll add lighting.
Lighting is good.
Like cool little cord lighting.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
All right, Paul Blart, Mall Cop Cinematic Universe. What do you got?
Jesus Christ. So I actually have a long rant, but I'm saving it for the Xbox segment. But
Fair.
I will say, however, though, and this is against like both Sony and Microsoft, nobody has announced a price yet.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna fucking scream.
Nobody has announced a price yet. Nobody. I'm almost at this point thinking they're going to be like, hey, so guess what? Buy it right now because it's out. Like that's literally what's going to happen at this point with both consoles. Like neither company's being the better, quote unquote, and saying like, look, this is what it's going to cost. Pre-order it now. You know, or if you can't buy it, like save up. This is what, you know, and it's insane to me that this is what it's come down to, that we are literally what, like 3 months, give or take 3 or 4 months until release and still nothing.
Do you remember like maybe like a year or two ago when like Sony and Xbox were kind of getting like friendly and like they were like congratulating
they're
each other on
like,
like
we'll
milestones
share-
and like we'll
share
share
games
stuff
now.
and like let's talk about crossplay. How about you guys get in a fucking room and say, hey, we're going to just price our consoles the same. People are going to buy what console that they're used to. This isn't a fucking contest. Let's put these pre-orders out. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but a man can dream.
It's like they want Console Wars Part 2. You know, like it started to fade out a little bit.
Yeah, people were like,
Yeah.
why are people still bitching about consoles? Like, we're all friends. Like, we're all playing together. And then, yeah, it seems like, I don't know.
But, you know, they had the Treaty of Versailles or something, and now they're just up in arms.
No, it's
Oh, wait,
ridiculous.
this is the Cold War of consoles right now.
It
'Cause
legit-
It's a stale. They're
It
just,
is.
They're waiting.
Yeah,
Holy
no
crap.
one's pressing that red price button.
Where's Billy Joel? He's got to write another song.
I just want my pre-order in. Like, I don't care how much it costs. I just want to hit the pre-order button. I want to know that I'm getting one. I want to play Miles Morales Spider-Man. I want to play Destiny in 4K 60 frames per second.
I'll get mine like 2 years later.
Oh, Matt,
probably
you'll be
'cause
proud of me. I'm
backlog.
like at 1060 now.
I'm proud of
I
you.
grinded.
You're a few weeks behind me, but I'm proud of you.
Wow, 20 more and you could be 1080p.
Indeed. I have raves. I've just raves. I could rant about a COVID thing and I'm just not going to. I'll just say 4 words. Wear your fucking mask. That's it. Raves. I'm going to kind of hop on your bandwagon and say the same thing. Ghost of Tsushima is fucking awesome. I love it. Again, I'm playing it to relax as well. The other thing I want to say is that we have our little like weekend, and we play on the weekdays too, Warzone squad. It's been a lot of fun. We have been winning a lot lately, so it's been getting a little frustrating. And I was at the pool yesterday and just chillaxing. I just sent like a chill text to my buddies and Eric from Geeks with Kids. I was like, along squads tonight, and they were like, "No, you sure?" Like, really? I'm like, "Yeah, let's play tonight." Squatted up. Our second game in, W. 2 games after that, W. 2 games after that, W. 3-win night last night, ladies and gentlemen. It was a blast, and they were all kind of like cheap wins too.
Petty wins.
Part of our strategy is we like to take a helicopter and grab a most wanted, which is like being king of the hill, and then just go hide on top of the airport roof, because unless you have a helicopter, no one else can get up there. There's no way up. So we had a lucky ring where the ring ended on the roof, and there were people down in the airport, and we made it all the way to the 10th ring, which means you can't go anywhere. It just closes on you until you're dead. And we held out longer and won. It was so stupid.
Amazing.
But it was so fun.
Julian's like, here's how you win at Warzone.
Be a cheap son of a bitch.
Oh, I got hate mail earlier in the week. This guy said to me, "Quit fucking camping, you little pussy." And I said to him, "I'm sorry that you're so horrible at this game where 95% of its player base camps. Have a good day."
We need to like have a smack talk class for you, Julian. I don't.
Oh no, I no, my version of smack talk is passive aggressiveness.
Oh, it's more, I think, of a bitch slap when you're polite about it.
Yeah.
Like, because then people just get mad and they blow up at you. But if you're just like, okay, Jan.
And he went, "I suck, ha 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 ha." And then I finished it with, "Look at my win stats. Have a good night." And I blocked him.
Ooh.
Yep.
Blocked.
Block. Last rave. And it's all thanks to you, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Yep, Princesses of Power.
It's so good. I'm sad that we're just getting on the bandwagon now, but
it's the best time.
It's
you
so
can binge
good.
it all. You don't even have to wait.
And Cecily is obsessed. Like, she did not want to stop watching when I left. I'm like, "You can't watch without me." And she's like, "But I like the show more than you." I'm like, "I don't know about that, kiddo." So
I love it. Only took a year of me pestering you about it to finally make it happen.
I said it while we were playing Warzone last night to Eric and my buddies Scott and Vin. I was like, "I like this better, like 1,000 times better than Avatar," and I got some words about that.
Whoa!
Eric and his daughter also love She-Ra.
They do. So he was happy that we were.
And
watching.
I'm basking in the glory because today I wore my tank top, my jacket, my Dora jacket, my sword, necklace, my rings for Catra and Adora, and my Horde earring because I was like, Julian finally is watching it. Thank you.
Brittany, secret She-Ra.
It's not even secret. Everybody who watches the show is like, "Why is Adora you?" And I'm like, literally, that was
legit.
That was like me when I was like 16.
Yeah. Anybody have anything else?
Nah.
No. All right. Well, then it is time for
The permitted minute.
the permitted minute. And we are going to go here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Gata, start the clock.
Sucker Punch's Ghost of Tsushima is PS4's fastest-selling first-party original IP debut, a well-deserved stat for such a beautiful and immersive game.
According to Phantom Wire, the upcoming Flashpoint film will be one of the first superhero films to have no major supervillain.
Geeks rejoice! G4 is making its triumphant return. If rumors are to be believed, the Broadway adaptation of Aladdin is headed to Disney+.
Here's some news that will shock no one. The Avatar sequels have been delayed again.
During Comic-Con at Home Star Trek panel, a Star Trek series was announced that will debut on Nickelodeon titled Prodigy. Also, multiple outlets have reported that Donald Glover will be reprising his role as Lando Calrissian in a Disney Plus Star Wars series.
Cue the AIP crew excitement. Legend of Korra is being added to Netflix this month.
Finally, we're going to have to wait a while longer to catch Chris Nolan's next epic, as Tenet has been delayed indefinitely due to COVID and the uncertainty about movie theaters reopening. Did we make it?
9 seconds left, yo.
Hell yeah.
I messed up and I said this month. I meant next month for Korra. Sorry, guys.
I rushed on because I'm like, oh my God, do we
I
have the time?
started sweating, so I was like, month.
And I screwed up saying reprising, so and we still did it.
Wow.
But that was a good permitted minute. Yeah.
If
9.
we were gonna mess up, I was just gonna blame it on the bronchitis.
That's fair. I was looking for a
Ain't
10th.
nobody got time for that.
I was looking for a 10th piece of news.
I get bronchitis like every 4 to 5 years, like clockwork. I really don't like it.
I've never had
It
it.
sucks. And it like this,
it can develop into pneumonia, which is like a far more serious condition.
I'm giving a little bit TMI right now, but like the Z-Pack and the steroids and the thing they give you, dude, they make you leave chemtrails with your ass. It's fucking horrible. Like,
okay, I don't think I did that. But.
Farting up a storm in my house. It was so bad. Like, you don't know. I
had bronchitis in Afghanistan, and I remember like my medic gave me a Z-Pack, and I was just like, I would hack up at like something out of my lungs. And it was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like, you could feel it like,
oh yeah, you can. It's disgusting. It's horrible. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, now
I get sick like once every 5 years. And
that's because you're She-Ra.
It's usually just a cold. No, I think it's because I like eat stuff off the ground. You know, like if I drop a French fry, I'll just pick it up and eat it. And I think that's like built up my immunity somehow.
Like you're a kid.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know.
And you're 26.
Yeah, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Youngin.
All right,
I just like almost go blind and stuff from like, intense injuries.
I don't know what I just ate, but I can't see anymore.
Let's get to some odds and ends. And let's get our EIP West Coast correspondent, Heather Borjon, on the line. She is here with us. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
Good to have you back. Obviously I know that would you have been at Comic-Con this year had it still been going on?
I like to go look at the costumes from the outside if I can't get a pass.
She just peers in through the window, breathing it up like.
That's fair.
Let me take a picture of you.
Well, and there's usually a lot of events that's completely independent. You don't need a pass necessarily to attend. Like a few years back, when South Park was celebrating their 20th season, they had these really cool like pop-up thing where you could take pictures and be part of like the South Park theme.
That's pretty awesome.
I always Jesus and Santa Claus doing a duet together at Christmas time, or the Woodland Critter Christmas, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. And I was like, yeah, you should actually look at what it is.
Yikes.
Oh man. Obviously there hasn't been that much relevant news to come out of Comic-Con because they're just doing their Comic-Con at home thing, and so much has been pushed back because of COVID. But how has the Comic-Con at home experience been for you? I know that you've been following along pretty religiously.
Yeah, I've been tuning into panels probably like a couple a day, and so it's just been kind of nice because I don't have to deal with the traffic of going to San Diego, ridiculous hotel prices, and it's usually pretty hot towards the end of July down there. So it's kind of nice not having to deal with all of that stuff. Like, I know it's part of the con experience and I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it is kind of a nice change of pace because now it's accessible to everybody. It's not necessarily you have to have this pass that you may or may not get 3-4 months earlier. And so you can just kind of hang out, watch it. And then I can kind of go back to stuff later. Something's going on at the same time. It's really easy to access later on, going back and looking at something, or if I wasn't paying attention and got distracted, I can rewind the feed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How weird has it been for you? Because, had this been real Comic-Con, right? Like, we would have had bigger announcements. We would have had, Marvel there. We probably would have had maybe some Disney IPs, maybe not because of D23. Star Wars, Star Trek had a panel, which was disappointing. It's definitely a bit weird, right?
It has been. And so this is, cause D23 is every other year. So, but usually Disney kind of holds off on like their big announcements so you probably would see those next year. So it's kind of a good year for them to be off. But yeah, like usually this is when we're finding out more about Slate 4 for Marvel, and we don't even have Slate 4 started yet.
Right.
Because Black Widow got pushed back. Disney's now basically said, like, we don't know when we're releasing Mulan, which a lot of fans are like, dude, this is really cool. Come on, give it to us. I was kind of hoping Disney would take a page out of Universal's book and maybe release them for streaming, but with the retaliation from the theaters, I don't know if that's why they're holding off, or they just know that they can make more money once people can go back to theaters.
Let me just interrupt you there real quick, because do we know the numbers for what Hamilton did? I mean, do you think that had any effect? Like, did they not get the numbers they thought they would for Hamilton, where, maybe that would have made a decision for them not to put Mulan on Disney Plus?
I don't know. I haven't really seen. I mean, I know like Hamilton, like there's so many people just discovering it for the first time on my feed, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you've seen it 3 times?" I was like, "Yeah, that was like 3 years ago." And so that's been kind of cool. Is it made a very, very hard show to get tickets to, very accessible to people. So I know a lot of people signed up for Disney Plus just for the Hamilton experience. So if like they didn't get it early on, which is getting access to all the Disney stuff, I know the Hamilton did bring more people in, but I know a lot of people were already existing Disney Plus customers. And then like Verizon's still doing their year free of Disney Plus. So I'm sure a lot of people like tapped into that who had access to it.
That makes sense, right? So then like they'll probably have so many people signed up right now, they wouldn't make a lot of money off new signups for Mulan.
Yeah, and I feel like with Mulan, because it's like an actual movie that would have been released, I feel like they are banking on the fact that ticket sales are so high. It's more than somebody pays a month for Disney Plus. So they'd rather make people pay to watch it than just bank on like, okay, what if, for example, one family gets Disney Plus to watch it? That's 4 people in the household that were able to watch it for the rate of a month. So,
and it's like different with Hamilton too, because there's bootleg copies all over the internet.
Yeah.
Like even on some adult film sites, from what I've heard. Like, yeah.
Pornhub, come watch Mulan.
X Hamster presents Hamilton.
Yeah, right?
Triple X.
But I think it also kind of like deterred all the bootleggers from posting Broadway shows. And like most people who've seen it still want to go see it live.
Right.
So I think it's kind of a different animal because it's something that's already like out for public consumption, where Mulan, like everyone's going to see it for the first time.
Yeah.
So
debatable.
I
watched it on VHS.
Heather, we'll get back to you in just a second for any final thoughts on Comic-Con. Did you guys have anything from Comic-Con that you may have
I had
announcements.
Yeah, I had a couple things up here that I pulled up, but
You can go first.
Okay.
And then I'll go.
So they debuted Archer season 11.
Oh, yes.
Trailer, and I'll be the first to admit I fell out of Archer a few seasons ago. I loved Archer. Heather and I loved Archer. The first few seasons are some of the funniest goddamn television you will ever watch. Mm-hmm. They got a little experimental with like Archer Vice and stuff like that, and then, you know, I'm not really spoiling the storyline because if you haven't seen it by now, it's like 3 seasons ago. Like Archer was shot, was basically was dead in a coma, and it's real. He's in a coma. And the last 2 or 3 seasons have all been in his head as he's Dreamland, Danger Island, and 1999, all in his head and all that. And he just woke up at the end of 1999. I actually watched 1999 because I'm a sucker for sci-fi and all that, and it was okay. It was an okay season, but just from that trailer, it looks like they've gone back to season 1 basics. Like they're spies again. They're doing their wacky shit again, and I can't wait for it. Even Heather's like, all right, I'll watch it. And she's been like I don't want to watch Archer anymore.
I've never like religiously watched it, but I started binge watching the first season, never finished. But you guys know how picky I am on animation. I fucking love everything I've ever seen of Archer. So at some point I'm going to like binge my way through the whole thing. The
first like 2 to 3 seasons, like we quote all the time in my household. So like whenever somebody leaves food out, we're like, is this how you like, do you want fucking ants? This is how you get ants. We're like, Lana, what? Danger zone. Like, it's so great. Oh.
I'm sorry, are you addressing me? Because your authority is not recognized here in Fort Kick-Ass.
What were you going to say, Heather?
Oh, no, it's just like, it's one of those shows where it's like, I keep trying to start, and then I get distracted by something else. So I'm like, what do I do? Where do I start with this show? There's a lot, and it's funny because like that and Bob's Burgers started like right around the same time.
And it's the same dude.
And like it's the same actor. So it's just like all of a sudden I'll be paying attention and like you'll fall asleep. I'm like, wait, am I watching Bob's Burger or am I watching Archer? I can't tell.
There was an episode where he dresses up as Bob for Bob Burgers. Or he's like literally flipping burgers and you're like, oh my God, I get this reference.
Well, and they actually, so that crossover happened and then I went to at WonderCon, I think 2014, I was at the Bob's Burger panel and they asked, they're like, so when's Archer coming like to Bob's Burger? And they're like, oh, we don't know. But like the fans want it to happen.
Yeah.
I have another announcement.
Hit it.
So the Dragon Prince, another amazing animated show. Some people, like, it takes a little bit to get used to like the animation style because it's like cell shading. But it was made by some of the people that worked on Avatar: Last Airbender. But the Dragon Prince, which I really enjoy and everybody in my household and family enjoys a lot, just got renewed for 4 more seasons. So they had three seasons. The 3rd season just came out. It was really good. And then they're like, hey, it's going to be a full 7 seasons, like what they originally planned, and it's like a whole saga of awesomeness. So I'm super hyped because every year it's one of those shows where you're like, please get renewed, and then it does, but only for 1 more season. So you're always like, when's it going to end?
Yeah.
I need more. So that was awesome. And there was a lot of different things, like Mega Man live action movie they announced.
Also,
Interesting.
Also, they announced The Boys got renewed for season 3, which I still need to watch that. I've heard
I hear it's
good.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, just like the superheroes are dicks. That's the premise.
Yeah, I feel like it was mostly renewals being announced and comics.
Yeah.
This
because
wasn't.
comics aren't stopped.
Yeah.
This wasn't a hard-hitting Comic-Con.
Well, this also wasn't an announcement so much as it was a reveal. Zack Snyder did a big, like Q&A panel, and let's talk about this real quick. The massive fucking A-bomb that he dropped on Joss Whedon when asked about the footage that he shot. Zack Snyder, and I'm just going to take a second here to pull up Facebook so I could do the exact quote, because it's like quote of the nerd century, in my opinion. If you want to shit on someone, this is how you do it.
And Joss too, like where he's has such a loyal following.
Well, yeah, that started to dwindle a little bit because of some accusations, but I know what you mean.
That dwindled
Yeah.
like right after Avengers, and I was one of those people that's like, no.
So this is the quote from Zack Snyder about Joss Whedon's Justice League and using any footage from it in the Snyder Cut. I'd destroy the movie before I used a single frame that I didn't photograph. That is a fucking hard fact. I'd blow the fucking thing up. Holy shots fired.
Just took the loss.
I will.
Hell, man.
I will say though, is Zack Snyder better hope his cut is fucking incredible, because if it's not, then he's gonna look like a complete dick.
I'm not gonna lie, he dropped that little quick scene of Clark flying down in the black suit last night and meeting Alfred, and I was like, there's no stash gate. He's in the black suit. I'm
how it should have
fired up, man.
I just don't understand why Joss Whedon made the changes he did, because it did conflict the tone a lot. And I know we already talked about it in another episode, but it's just like we knew as fans where it was going to go because of what Zack Snyder said, and then it just didn't happen. So
And then
I hope it's good.
The quick other announcement that I have is this is kind of a shameless plug going to our sister show, A Strange New Pod. But one of the bigger announcements that they did at the rather disappointing Star Trek panel was Alex Kurtzman did say that there are 10 episodes broken, which means that the stories are laid out for the first 10 episodes of Strange New Worlds, which is really exciting. That means that they are working on it, and they're going to probably start production soon. Probably looking at like 2022 for that show. And then also I mentioned it in the Permitted Minute, a new Nickelodeon series called Prodigy, which I'm 10 times more excited about just seeing the logo than stupid fucking Lower Decks, which I saw a scene from and I wanted to pull my eyeballs out.
I'm more excited for that logo than for the Space Force logo, which ripped off Pontiac
and Star Trek all at the same time.
It's just ridiculous. I just laugh every time they update it. I'm like,
Oh my
dude,
God.
it's still Star Trek. Like, stop.
Heather, back to you real quick. Did you have any other things you wanted to touch on? And do you want to shameless plug or talk about your dress buying experience?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I was going to talk about the Comic-Con at home merch buying. Funko basically shit the bed their first, like right out the gate. Because traditionally, like at Comic-Con, and I found this out the hard way, is you have to get a wristband the day before, the day you actually want to buy. From the Funko booth, because it's in just such high demand. Comic-Con's really one of those things you don't want to go to if you don't like lines, because there's no fast pass.
Oh God.
Because you have to stand in the line to get a wristband to stand in another line. And I mean, Hall H is infamous, but it's like you don't realize how many other lines are there unless like you've actually gone. But my dress buying experience, So I am going to shamelessly plug one of my famous local designers, Al Hoffer Design. And so she's been making Geek Bound apparel for at least the last 5 years, and she's really blown up over the last couple of years. Some of John Barrowman's costumes have been handmade by her. And she's just phenomenal work. It runs pricey, but like you're paying for quality. And so she released her Comic-Con previews about, I think the first one was the Sea Witch dress, and it's just this gorgeous like black and purple wrap dress that kind of gives you those Ursula vibes. And so I was like, I need this dress. And so following like religiously to see what she was going to be releasing. And so basically the way she modeled it was every morning at 9 a.m. during the days of the con, she was stocking her website with so many sizes, because she only ordered what she would have taken to the con, because you had to order this way before COVID happened.
Oh yeah, that's with anything like con related, right? Like you have to prepare months in advance whether, the show gets canceled or not.
Exactly. And so she only ordered like what she would usually fit in the booth and in her hotel room between her and her team. So she's actually turned this into a really cool opportunity for her brand, and just like shouting out other female-owned businesses, because so she's been doing her booth stocks and posting so many of each size. So like she did a preview day when you'd usually have your preview day for Comic-Con on Wednesday night at 6:00, and like I wasn't paying attention and I totally missed it.
Oh no! And
within 7 minutes, like that dress was gone, and all sizes, not just mine. And I was like, well,
dang. Did you get Comic-Con?
No, it's just, and this is one of the cool things is because people who usually wouldn't get to buy these like Comic-Con exclusives, it was open to a lot more people. So competition was way up, and her loyal followers were ninjas. So
dang.
I was just not the fastest ninja this time. So then when she restocked on Thursday, I was able to get this amazing dress. So I'm waiting for it to come. And it's funny because I got another package from her from a sweater that I ordered pre-COVID, and it got delayed. So I walked outside to talk to the ice cream man in a sweater when it was 87 degrees out here.
Nice.
So fun. But anyway, what's also been cool is she's been doing different featurettes of like the owners of Rockleg Jewelry, and just sitting down and having like her own mini like Comic-Con related content. So I've seen other like vendors who would have had booths at Comic-Con doing similar things, and so that's been kind of a cool experience, is watch how they've kind of run with this Comic-Con at home idea.
Yeah, the vendors have actually been more interesting than the actual, like geeky, nerdy, like show and television stuff, movie stuff that we like would want to see this year.
They provided more content, I think.
It feels a lot more like WonderCon. So WonderCon is Comic-Con International. Other smaller con, they usually have it in the springtime, and it's usually a test run. So Comic-Con introduced these badges, and that you have to tap in and tap out every time you go into a hall, a panel, whatever else, the fashion show. And so they actually test run that at WonderCon before at the LA Convention Center, the 1 year or a couple years it was there. And so like WonderCon usually will have a lot of fun panels, but it's like a lot smaller, and like the more low key panels, like what you're seeing this year at Comic-Con at home. So for me, I was like, oh, this is just WonderCon that we didn't have in springtime.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's interesting because LA Comic-Con, which it used to be Stanley's Kamikaze, is already talking about being one of the first cons back in LA. So
when's that supposed to happen?
Usually it's in October, but they're pushing it back to December. So they're going to reduce capacity, I think, like to a fifth of what they usually do. And they're releasing like their social distancing plan. So they're hoping by reducing capacity, they can keep the amount of people in the halls down. It's going to be really interesting to see how that actually happens. I'm debating if I want to chance it just to like see what this post-COVID con looks like.
Yeah. Well, let us know if you do, because that would kind of be a unique thing to talk about on the show, is like, if you go to this con, like what the experience is like being back.
Yeah, for sure. It all depends on the state at this point, because I mean, California is doing its own thing over here.
Yeah. So
our theme parks still aren't open. Knott's Berry Farm kind of has done a food tasting event, but like you can't do any of the rides right now.
Yeah.
So because if someone's never been in Knott's Berry Farm, they have this whole kind of corner of the park that's just like their ghost town where there really isn't rides. So they can swing that. But, I mean, I don't know, looking towards the future, what it's going to be looking like in the next couple months. So hopefully better.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thanks for coming on and giving us your take on Comic-Con at home. It's definitely it's been different, and it's been interesting to see what's been going on. So thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. All right, guys, let's move on. Do we want to touch real quick on theaters not opening up? And
I mean, there's not much we can really say at this point. It sucks.
It sucks, right? But I want your opinion just real quick. We don't have to go long into this. Mm-hmm. We should just get these fucking movies on demand at this point,
yeah,
right?
I think
like,
it's
we're not
kind of
going to
weird.
the movies. I don't think we're going to the movies at this point this year.
No, probably not.
Like, I don't plan on being in a movie theater until 2021 at this point.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised Tenet got delayed because I'm just like, well, obviously. And when they're like delayed indefinitely, like, oh my God, it's never going to come out. I'm like, I will, just like whenever they're able
Indefinitely means when theaters reopen.
It means
that
they're not going to
yes.
keep announcing delays
Yes.
repeatedly, which is just stupid.
When our country stops failing at
When
responding
people
to
start,
this.
wearing their masks and staying at home. Yeah. Black Widow, for one, like, just put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Or even if they don't want to do that at first, like maybe they should give it a month where it's like released on
demand, right?
On demand,
Yeah.
like pay to watch it, like they did for God damn it, Trolls World Tour
And
Like,
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
They made so much. Yeah, those were fine. I didn't mind doing that either. Like I didn't keep Trolls World Tour, but I rented that shit. I
we
watched
own
it.
that now.
Yeah.
I own it. I own a Steelbook 4K.
It's actually not bad.
It's a good movie.
Hey, Steelbooks. Is Best Buy done delaying theirs? I want my Gladiator and Braveheart.
Dude, they have them there right now. I'm going to Best Buy to pick something up.
Can you go in?
Yeah. You can
All
go
right.
in, just put on a mask, and you walk in.
I'm coming with you.
Are you
after
not
this.
entertained?
I need my Steelbooks. You didn't tell me that they were.
Dude, I got them in the mail weeks ago. What's wrong with you?
You told me they delayed them.
They delayed them like a month or two.
Are they do they have them at our store?
I saw them there the other day.
Happy
Like
day.
it was in there like 2 days ago.
Let's move on to our first segment of the day, our first major segment of the day, I should say. See, this is what happens when you miss a week.
We're just covering a lot.
You're rusty, Julian. You're rusty.
No, it's just lots to cover. We did the PlayStation Game Showcase, and now it's time for the Xbox Game Showcase. And Matt, I'm going to just start right with you. You're the main Xbox player here, and the first thing that we saw was Halo Infinite.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halo Infinite was always going to be their basically their best pitch that they were going to throw at you because it's the biggest name that they have that they're going to bring out and all that stuff like that. However, I'm going to say this right now, and this is basically my rant that I put off, is that I am so sick of people shitting on Microsoft for what seems like no reason about this, because people were saying the graphics in the demo that they showed were garbage, that they weren't great, that they didn't look good. And here's the thing. I don't know what it's going to look like, the final product. I don't know if that's what it's going to look like. I mean, did the graphics like blow me away? Not really. No, they didn't. But at the same time, though, I'm glad they were honest with it, because I've lost count of the number of people I've seen bitch about any game show where they show off game and the game is nothing like that, where the game looks nothing like that, and people are just like, well, they lied to us. Like, well, they didn't lie to you this time. Like, this is what the game looks like. This is pretty much how it will play and all that, and people are shitting on them. And so I've come to the conclusion that gamers are horrible. And
Dude, they really
so
are.
true.
I mean,
it's a toxic fandom.
yeah, and like the amount of people I've seen, like when Microsoft posts something and just random people like, I'm going to PlayStation, screw Xbox. It's like, then why are you posting in this?
Yeah.
I don't go to
They just
Sony's
want attention.
I don't go to Sony's pages and be like, fuck Sony and their like, I don't do that. So I don't understand people, and I don't understand this mindset that people have that you have to have the better this than somebody else.
I'm not an Xbox guy. Never owned one in my life. I watched that Halo Infinite trailer and I got goosebumps. And it made me, and I was jokingly in our chat going, I will not buy an Xbox X. I will not buy an Xbox X. I will not buy an Xbox X. I thought the graphics looked spectacular. That's me. I don't know anything about what they look like on Xbox One, but they looked really good to me. And let's talk about this real quick. I'm excited, having not really played much Halo, that they're kind of making it more of an open world game. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm interested in how they pull that off, honestly.
Yeah.
Gonna get that warthog and go wherever the hell we want. Don't have to just be on that one map. Remember where you snipe on the cliff? That one spot? I think it's in, like,
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Remember.
I do. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to like ride the warthog
Yeah.
out there.
See, the open map thing can be a good thing because my whole experience with Halo has been like expertly crafted levels that you go through. And so don't get me wrong, I'm excited for it, but I'm a little wary of the open world, even though I do enjoy open world games very much. But Halo's never been
Hear
that.
me out. Maybe it's going to be open world closed, open closed, open closed. A lot of games are following that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Horizon Zero Dawn's like super open world, but then there's other ones where it's like, you have like certain areas that are open world, but then it's like, ooh, main task funnel. And
Yes. Yeah.
goes in and
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So maybe they'll do that. And I haven't played Halo since maybe Reach on the 360, but I really enjoyed that series up until that point. I just never, I didn't personally have the Xbox One. Like, my brother has all that.
Yeah.
I stuck to the PlayStation route now.
Yeah. Do you want to do the next one here?
Sure, yeah. I'm going to scroll through our
That's
Instagram.
what I'm doing. That's why I'm
Yeah.
on it too.
Because as obnoxious as it was, I was live Instagramming all this.
I take back what I said, by the way, because I keep looking back at it and people have been interacting with
Yeah.
these and it looks really cool
Also,
on our Insta.
I was really stuck because I found some really great images of all these things and as quickly as I could, awesome screenshots. So yeah, now you can, anybody who's listening to this, go to our Instagram, just go back to the Halo Infinite picture and then slowly scroll up through the feed and you'll see one by one each thing that was announced and multiple pictures for it.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So the second part was State of Decay 3, which I haven't played the
I've
first
never
two.
played a State of Decay game.
I played the first one.
All I know is Russian Twitter was freaking out about it. Because
Twitter.
I have different spheres on Twitter. Like French Twitter is always up to some shenanigans, usually bread related, but Russian Twitter, they were blowing up. So I was like, State of Decay must be great.
In Russia.
Yeah. And you got this really mutated looking, I guess it's the deer.
Yeah.
It was just messed up. So,
At first, I thought this was a new trailer for what we saw at the PlayStation showcase for Resident Evil Village,
Oh, yeah.
but I was wrong. Yeah.
But it looks like another classic, sort of survival, creepy, mutated
And you
game.
said you have some experience with these.
Yes, I played State of Decay 1. I haven't gotten 2 yet, just, for whatever reason. And my experience with the State of Decay series is obviously zombie apocalypse game, post-zombie apocalypse. You
my
play a
genre.
survivor. You're trying to build, at least in 1, you built a compound. You would get other survivors and such. I think 2 had more multiplayer added into it. I don't think 1 had quite as heavy a thing attached to it. But I mean, I enjoyed State of Decay. I didn't love it like a lot of people did. I thought it was a fine game. I just couldn't get into it as hardcore. I'm generally not a huge fan of survival games like that.
So you think it's just a state of okay. We also live in the United States of decay. So
yes.
Next one was, and this is talking about Twitter. Twitter, for whatever reason, went crazy about the next Forza.
it was a Forza to be reckoned
Listen,
with.
I know that the Forza games are a blast as far as racing. They're super hyper realistic. I've played, I think I was at a buddy's house and I think I played the Forza that came out for the Xbox One. It's fun. It's hard. They're hard games.
They're gorgeous. I'm not a Forza fan. I'm not a huge racing guy. The only games I'll play that are racing are kind of like some of the Need for Speed, and that's iffy. Some of the Forza games are always well made. Anytime I've played them, I've been like, all right, this is very well put together. And Forza Motorsport it's going to look gorgeous. Like that was pretty much proven from its trailer. If it looks anything like that, it's going to look absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Not much else.
Yeah.
It's always a launch title when a new console comes
yeah.
out. This is a cool little thing that I wanted to kind of say that both consoles did. Each did a really cool fantasy game reveal that looks like a game that I would want to play.
Yeah.
I already forget the name of
Everwild?
the one that I liked on PS. Was it Nella or the?
I'm trying to remember. The one that we played the trailer
Yeah,
for?
and I absolutely
I can't think of it right now.
was stoked for that. And this looks really cool as well. Everwild by Rare, who's known for Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark. I was about to say Perfect Dark, Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah.
Lots of really good Nintendo 64 games.
Yes.
And then Rare kind of disappeared for a little bit, and I was like, come back.
And here they are. This looks really cool.
It's a rare find. But yeah, no, it does look gorgeous. Once again, like this, the shading, it kind of does look like animated shows like Dragon Prince, and then I like when they do this kind of stylized thing, especially for fantasy. It works really well. So like, there's some games where you're like, please don't go realistic because it's based on something animated. Like if you play an anime video game, this looks gorgeous and like fantastical.
Yes.
I like fantasy games that look like this because I feel it.
Yeah, Rare is always makes games that I'm very interested in. At bare minimum, Everwild, I definitely kind of like popped on my radar.
Yeah, this game seems to be definitely right up your guys' alley for sure. This is it almost looks like an indie title, which it's not because Rare I wouldn't call.
No, they've been an exclusive. They've put out a few big budget titles over the years.
Next is one of those like kind of like drama driven.
Hold on.
Yeah, hit it.
It's made by the people that made Life is Strange.
Yep.
The Life is Strange series, which are usually decision-based games. A little more on the drama side, but I really enjoyed the first one, which involves time travel. Second one I haven't completed yet because I was playing it as the episodes were coming out, and then I was teaching at the time. So I was like, oh, finals are coming up. Got to stop.
So I actually, when I got you the game for your birthday, Brittany, it was either Little Nightmares or Life is Strange. But I'm like, she probably has already played Life is Strange
I have,
once.
but I wouldn't have turned down a physical copy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's called Tell Me Why. So it's made by Don't Nod, who I think is a French company. I think I applied to work for them at one point in time because I was like, it would be cool to like work for you and live there. I've applied to so many weird things. But yeah, it seems interesting. The trailer itself, like they always do this where it doesn't give away a lot, but it like intrigues you because something like is supernatural about the game. So you have this like final photo here.
Yeah.
Which is like
the
woman in the background, the guy up front. If people look on Instagram, you'll see it. And there's these like glowing lights, this weird sort of like almost spectral thing happening in front of him. So we're going to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the plot's going to be, but obviously something involving memories or past.
Yep.
So it could be cool.
Matt, I'm going to let you take this next one because I know
I don't have the order down here.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Oh yeah, so they basically like showed off a updated Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which I love Ori. Ori's a fantastic. Both of the games are beautiful. They're gorgeous. I am excited for this. Also, at the same time, I was kind of hoping they would announce a new Ori game specifically for the new Xbox. So I was a little let down, but at the same time, I think if you haven't played Ori yet, definitely if you get the new Xbox, I would highly recommend it. The game is gorgeous in motion, and it's one of the few games that has legit like brought me to tears.
And it's going to run at 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X, which is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So play Ori before anything else.
You're
You knew that was coming.
on a low bar today, Brittany.
I only had like 3 sips of coffee before I got here.
Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. Ori is an Xbox exclusive.
Yes, it is.
Which is so sad because this is a game I actually really have been wanting to play.
Ori is, and I say this in all seriousness, it's one of the best platformers I've played, like, period. Just its design, its gameplay mechanics, its story, its music, its art. Pretty much almost everything about it is damn near perfect. Like, Ori and the Will of the Wisps had those issues that I talked about in a previous episode with some achievements not popping. I know they fixed a bunch of that. So, I mean, yeah, as I said, it's definitely worth a play, and I highly recommend it to anybody.
Nice.
Next up on docket or document. I don't know. Docket, is that the
Next on the docket? Yeah,
I feel like
docket.
I always say
No,
that. What the
docket's
hell does
right.
that
Yeah.
mean? Docket.
It's like a dossier.
Next on the dossier. New Outer Worlds DLC was announced, which is going to be called Peril on Gorgon.
Still haven't played the original game yet.
Will it be related to the original Gorgons of Greek mythology? Probably not.
Probably not.
But it looks cool.
So if you haven't played Outer Worlds, I'll just give you the briefest of rundowns. It is actually, and I didn't even know this until I read into it, it's an alternate history game where the trust and the monopoly companies in the early 20th century were never broken up. So basically, the United States just continued to develop where these massive super corporations just started taking more and more control of everything. And then they eventually got into space travel, and that's why like all of space is like completely messed up at this point. The Outer Worlds is a very fun game. I still need to go back and beat it. I believe I'm probably going to mispronounce the one character's name. Parvati, I think is her name. She's awesome.
Ashley Birch. Love that voice actress.
She's awesome as hell. She's like my favorite character. And it's funny because at first, when you first start talking to her, you kind of fall into that trope in your head where it's like, my character might be able to romance her or something like that. And then you find out like she's gay or asexual. And I remember she's like, well, I'd like to go on this date with this woman. I'm like, I'm going to get you that date, Parvati. Like
Nice.
we're going to
It's
do
like
this.
side quest, more like main quest.
Pretty much.
I'm going to take this next one because I don't like bugs. And this just like freaked me out. Like this grounded game and you could like destroy your teammates on purpose. Like,
Or just let them get eaten by the
Yeah.
spider or whatever they say.
My favorite thing about this trailer was when it opened, like, if you want to play the best game of, like, this year, you should probably wait for Cyberpunk. Yeah. It's like, but if you don't, then check out Grounded. And I was like, I can't even be mad.
I respect that. Not much needed to say about this one. Let's move on because Obsidian announced a big time RPG. Do we know what it was? It was called Avowed, I guess.
Avowed, I think.
Avowed.
Yeah, they didn't show gameplay. It was just all trailer, which
Cinematic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take that
can't
for what
really-
it
It
is.
was
I
like,
mean,
ooh, look at this skeleton warrior. Ooh,
Now-
look at this glowy purple. RPG.
I mean, I am, because I've always been a sucker for the Elder Scrolls games. So if this is in that vein, then yes, I'm very much interested.
Yeah. Moving right along, as dusk falls.
Once again, another trailer that doesn't really tell us what's in the game,
Yeah.
but it seems like I'm trying to think of what game it would like remind me of.
It
Is
looks like a Telltale
Until Dawn,
game, or
kind
yeah,
of?
Until Dawn. Yeah,
like it kind of has that sort of like, it seems like it has that sort of like theme, especially with the way how the title is done. But I can't tell if it's like Telltale-ish or not. It looks
Yeah.
pretty, but I'm also wondering, what is it about?
I know you're excited for the next game on the list. At least I think you got excited in the chat. I could be wrong, unless I was mixing you up with someone on Twitter.
I think you might be, because I haven't played the first
I
one.
thought for some reason that you played Hellblade 1.
I mean, it's a woman covered in dramatic tattoos who's a badass, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be excited no matter what.
Hellblade, the Senua's Sacrifice, the first one, is a very well-made game. The actress who plays Senua is awesome. I'm really pumped for this. I'm
Nice.
looking forward to it. And the first game explored the whole ideas of like somebody basically with schizophrenia in like medieval times, or in the Viking age, and that's basically what Senua has. She's essentially a paranoid schizophrenic trying to bring back her dead lover.
Oh, okay.
So that's big, her entire adventure. Like, she has all these voices in her head talking to her, and they actually built the game by interviewing people that have schizophrenia and designed it around that.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
Hellblade 2 will be set in Iceland,
Mm-hmm.
which is exciting, and then it's built with the Unreal 5 engine, which is basically what's going to be the new standard for these consoles. It certainly seems like. And if you want to check out more on that, there is a behind the scenes video available on their YouTube channel. What's that? NT? Is NT the developer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice. Hellblade 2.
I'll do the next one. So, a very interesting trailer happened for Psychonauts 2, which is already exciting because people are like, oh, Psychonauts, I didn't even think about that. But what really got me was Jack Black sings the song for it.
It was so cool.
I was just like, because at first, when I first heard it, I was just like, wait, is that Jack Black? And then like it slowly grows, and I'm like, that's totally Jack Black. And in our chat, we're joking around like, oh, this is like a Tenacious D concert right now. But yeah, and then he's like revealed for, a hot second. And then, it's just a cool, interesting game. I don't know if anybody's played the first one.
I've
Yes.
seen all the stuff for it. I've never played it.
I love the first game. Love it. It is a classic. I am so pumped for Psychonauts 2.
Matt, I'm gonna kind of do two of our items from this segment in one, because the next thing on our list is they did a new Beyond Light trailer for Xbox, and that's also kind of where they made some hints and announcements for Xbox Game Pass.
Yes. So for those who don't know, Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's big thing, and there was an article I put in the chat, and if you haven't read it, it's basically Microsoft is almost trying to become the Netflix of video game stuff, where maybe they don't do as many big, huge budget games and all that, but they're trying to essentially become your one-stop shop for these games. And I don't know, I know you can pay monthly. I think it's like $10-15 a month and whatnot, or I think you can pay for a year, but It gives you access, and I will admit this, it gives you access to a ton of games, even like new releases, which for a lot of people is like a huge selling point. Like, you don't want to spend $60 or now possibly $70 on a new video game? Not a problem. Like, Microsoft is waiting for you and says, hey, $15 a month.
I feel personally attacked for Ghost of Tsushima. I'm just like, okay.
But that's the thing though, is that, and I do give Microsoft like credit in that they're starting to get like bigger developers on board with this to say, all right, your brand new game that you're selling for $60-$70, like we're going to put it on our streaming service day one, no difference than if you bought it. And they're kind of starting to go, okay, yeah, we'll do it.
And Beyond Light, the next expansion for Destiny 2 is going to be on that, which is pretty cool. If you don't want to shell out, like $60 to get like the season pass with it, it sounds like Beyond Light, you're probably going to get that season pass.
I'm curious to see how that'll work out.
I'm assuming so.
I'm assuming it will be, but then my question is like, so if you cancel your Game Pass, what happens to your stuff in game? Does it lock up?
That's a very good question that they're going to have to figure out.
Yeah, and that's something that I'll be curious to see if they detail how that will work. But
you keep your achievements, but nothing else. I just realized I misspoke earlier when I was talking about State of Decay. This is the one that Russian Twitter was freaking out about. Stalker.
Yep.
The following one. I got them confused because they're both like post-apocalyptic, so I was just like, yeah.
That's okay. An interesting fact, if Russian Twitter went crazy over that, also, it says in our Instagram, this post is doing better than 95% of your recent post. So people, I guess, are really excited for Stalker 2.
And they must be stalking our Instagram.
So
we have a good Instagram. Come on.
We do.
But so the funny thing is I've never played Stalker, the first one, Stalker Shadows of Chernobyl, which a lot of people I know have played it and describe it as a classic. Like, it is a fantastic game. And from what I've seen, it does have like dark humor in it and all that other fun stuff. And it was very well made. So I might have to jump in with Stalker 2 and just see what the fuss is all about.
Yeah. Yeah. Next on the list was
Warhammer 40K.
This looks really cool.
Yeah. my brother was watching these with me, like the trailers and stuff, and I remember before it was even, appears on the screen, just right away he saw the guns they were holding and he's just like, wait a minute. And he's like, oh my god, is this Warhammer? Oh my god. He was like freaking out, and then it's like revealed that it is Warhammer, and he was just like super
stoked,
excited.
ready.
So yeah, Dark Tide is coming in 2021.
I assume your brother's getting an Xbox Series X.
Probably, because he already has the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Or Xbox One S.
Yeah.
Was that the other one? I don't know.
Yeah, it was the One S.
Yeah. He kept with Xbox when we went.
And you went
split
PlayStation.
Ways. He went to the military. I went to college, and then I apparently just kept with PlayStation. He kept with Xbox.
I'm gonna just skip over Tetris because Tetris.
But it's about being connected at home and staying.
That was one of the
inside.
things I seriously was like,
really? This is Xbox Series X and you're showing fucking Tetris?
The weirdest thing is, isn't this game already in the PS4 store?
Tetris 99, right?
Oh, I thought Tetris Effect, it's at least being advertised in the PS store. Yeah. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm pretty sure I could have bought that today, right?
Are people, well, I guess it's going to be Tetris Effect connected, but I mean, were people really clamoring to play Tetris against each other's? Like, were they like,
let's have Tetris family night, guys.
I love Tetris, but I would never play Tetris with other people because they can't carry their weight.
Ooh, burn.
It's Brittany, bitch.
I picture Brittany like cursing somebody like, how fucking dare you miss that line?
Fucking lime piece. You should have been an L shape, you dumbass.
The next one is the Gunk, which is quite a name for a game. Who knows?
Yeah, apparently, I guess you're just cleaning up the gunk.
All right.
You live in a trash world and you're a little person. Oh my god, it's like WALL-E.
Except you're a person. It's even, the gun is even, her fist thing is orange. Cool. Next game?
Next game looks really interesting, but I'll let Matt talk about it because it's kind of Control-esque.
Yeah, Medium. Like that was another game that I'm interested in. And like that's the thing that this whole thing did was there's a few games that I hadn't even heard of, like even being developed. Because normally, like I'll kind of catch like an article here or there. And Medium was definitely one of them. I have to look at the trailer again just to remember everything because I remember Medium was another one.
Yeah, it's like split reality.
Yeah, and they're saying two worlds are going to be rendered simultaneously.
Yeah,
in the
and
game.
that's
nuts.
And that's pretty damn cool. And because I remember the trailer a little bit more when you just mentioned that, and that was one of those things where I'm like, okay, your concept is already kind of hooking me. I'm already like interested to see what you do with this. and how what do you do with the gameplay? Like, are you just jumping back and forth at will, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, that looks pretty sweet. Brittany, is this the one that you got excited for?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So
Yeah, I know what it is
when
now.
I was a wee lass,
Warthog.
when I was
Like
a young
4 years ago.
warthog,
Yeah.
fucking rude. I'm pretty sure it was 2002 exactly. Anyway, around the early 2000s, there was a game called Phantasy Star Online that my cousin had. Oh my god, I think it was on the GameCube. This might be 2003, 2004. It's somewhere in that range, somewhere between 2002 and 2004. And he would play Phantasy Star. And my brother and I, it was one of those games where, especially if you have siblings and stuff, you're always excited when there's multiplayer games. And we didn't really understand the concept of the game at the time, but it's like an RPG. And my cousin was playing, his main character. And we got to like hop in as his side buddies. And we would just like run around him in circles, like when he'd be shopping, like in town and stuff, and then like go out. But it's really cool. It's like sci-fi, fantasy. So it's not like your typical like, medieval RPG, like half of them are. And I just got super excited because the way it looks and like the sword he has and the way things were glowing, I was just like, I was taken back to childhood and I was like nostalgia. And I was like, oh my God, is this Phantasy Star?
Brittany's about that glow.
And then it happened and I was like, it's Phantasy Star. There used to be these weird little ducks in the game, I remember. So anyway, it's a game I played literally, I think, once in childhood for like a period of 3 months. And it just kind of always stuck with me.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Next up is a new game from Remedy, which is a pretty damn good studio.
The peeps that did Control.
Yep. Control is fantastic. And this is Crossfire X. Know nothing about it.
Nothing about it, but as Julian said, like Remedy is put out a lot of kick-ass games, like obviously Control, and I do vaguely remember the trailer, and from what I saw, like, yes, I'm in.
If this is not an Xbox exclusive, I'll be getting this because of Control. I mean,
Yeah, if I get it
Yeah.
too, it'll be that reason.
You still need to still play the DLC for Control.
I'm not
I
going to play the
downloaded
DLC.
it. I bought it.
I don't have time
I bought
for
the
that
DLC. So I will. But what was I gonna say? There's something funny.
So I'm gonna because Brittany can't remember segue because I never actually played these games, but one of my best friends in high school, the two games that we were playing together on his Xbox, because there was one Xbox game that I played all the way through because it was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
There was also either Fable 1 or Fable 2 out around the same time, and I would watch him play, and Fable is awesome.
Yeah, Fable was the one on the normal Xbox.
Yeah,
and then Fable
yep.
2 came out for I think
That's
the
right.
360.
Yep.
I freaked out with my brother for this because like just the way the narration was happening and there's this little pixie, even before things go wrong in the trailer, I was like, holy shit, is this Fable? Because it's always rumored. They're always like Fable 3 will happen or Fable
like
3 did
Fable
happen.
4.
Fable 4, whatever. It'll eventually happen. And it's just been rumors forever. But then especially when like things started to turn south for this little pixie, I was just like, it's Fable, dude. It's Fable. And my brother's like, no, they wouldn't do this to us. And I was like, it's Fable. And then the name pops up and it's just Fable. It's not even like
Fable
3,
4,
4,
yeah.
5, 8, 7, 23. Like, no, it's Fable.
There is one thing that worries me about Fable though, because I saw an article and I'm trying to see if it's confirmed. I don't think they have, is that it's going to be an online RPG. And
Oh
if
no,
that's
Brittany's
true-
face. Oh my God.
Like Fable to me is always a single player experience, you experiencing the world, doing your thing.
And you make your own
Turning it into
story.
some online RPG to me I probably wouldn't buy it. I'll just tell you that right now.
Bold statement.
Oh no, trust me, it's not. I know what I like, and
Oh, no, I didn't
do
mean
not
bold
like-
statement in a bad way. Just, yeah, I mean,
No.
yeah.
How can you say something so controversial yet so brave?
And those are the games for the Xbox Game Showcase. Now, Matt, as the Xbox player in the room, what's your takeaway?
So I will say that Sony had the better exclusive releases and all that. So, you got the Spider-Man and all that other fun stuff.
Horizon.
Horizon. So those two games, like pretty much Sony, I would say won, quote unquote. Also at the same time, though, I think that Microsoft has an idea of what they want to do going forward. And I do think, because something that I saw in the article, that their Game Pass, like, has added something like several million more subscribers over a month versus like Sony's, like, I think Ghost of Tsushima was mentioned. It said like, yes, Ghost of Tsushima sold very well, but the amount of people that went on to Game Pass actually went past it. And so it's like, yeah, this $60 game sold excellent, very well, and all that. We're getting people roped in for monthly payments going forward.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So
now this is something that really worried you though. Like before, now it seems like you're maybe not as
the thing that I'm still not a fan of Game Pass, and I won't get it unless I have to, because they got rid of their 12-month Xbox Live Gold things that you could buy, at least from Microsoft directly. So there's still a lot of uncertainty as to what they're doing going forward. There's a lot of talk that they might just fold it all into one thing. And I mean, if they do that, then so be it. Then I'm going to get it. But and if I do, then one thing that I will be happy about is it gives me access to a lot of games that I probably would never have bought.
Yeah. And
I will say that is kind of a huge bonus. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will still buy stuff if I absolutely can and all that, but it may be a game that I kind of like it and everything. I'm not going to buy it. I'll just play it. That's what the Game Pass would be good for.
Get it? Because he's like, I'm game or I'll pass.
Yeah.
That's why they named it that.
Who had the better showcase, Sony or Xbox?
I liked more of the Sony games than Xbox. But then again, like I feel like I'm
a little biased.
A little biased because I currently have a PlayStation. So even as much as I thought some of these games were cool, I'm also like, realistically, when the next console comes out, even when I buy it, I'm probably going to end up going PlayStation because like I currently have the PS4 Pro, so I want my stuff to continue through that. But I mean, in a magical world, if I end up getting a poop ton of money and I can get both systems, I definitely will.
Yeah. I tried really hard to watch both of these, even though I'm getting a PS5 from a kind of non-biased point of view. And I will say there were some things at this Xbox conference that excited me. I'll give the edge to Sony simply because Sony also showed off the hardware. And I know that Xbox had already done that beforehand. And, Sony kind of dropped the ball. But getting to see it and then like talking about the specs and the controller and the accessories, I think added something to, show alongside the games. Having said that, and I think we'll all agree on this, I think both conferences have failed miserably at not announcing pre-orders or a price. And we've talked about this, but it needs mentioning again.
Yeah. I mean, I know Microsoft has basically said Thanksgiving without being specific.
Same thing with Sony, yeah.
Yeah, like Thanksgiving. So as I said, it's almost August, so about 3 months away.
You know what I would be giving thanks for? A goddamn price tag.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
I mean, because I don't want to be fighting like Julian. I want to pre-order my console, so I have it there. I know it's there. I don't have to worry about it. I don't want to be fighting people trying to get one, because if they don't do some kind of pre-order or they don't just produce a shit ton of these consoles, like they're gonna sell out like that, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass.
It's gonna be like Toys R Us in 2001.
Yeah. I do wonder if they will sell out that quickly, especially with Sony saying they're amping up production and making about 10 million more consoles for release for Thanksgiving. I wonder if they're not doing pre-orders because they're amping to have enough to sell without being swamped. It seems like that might be the way they're going.
The thing is, though, is that could be a good thing or a bad thing, because if, depending on the price point, if it's like, say, $600, a lot of people can't afford that. Like, just
I'll get it. I won't be happy about it.
No, I know, but once again, though, is that, unless you've been putting money aside as we speak, which is kind of what I've been doing, is I've been like budgeting and getting ready for it, is unless you've been doing that. And as I said, like, I'm almost expecting at this point to say like, yeah, it'll be available in a month or something like that, or it's available now. Have fun, go buy it.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we get an announcement before the end of the month. It is when we're recording this, July 26th.
People got to know to save those paychecks, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they got to decide: do I buy a turkey for Thanksgiving, or do I buy a console?
Turkeys ain't cheap.
They're not.
If you buy $400 worth of groceries at ShopRite, though, you get a free turkey. Just saying. That's it for the Xbox conference. Obviously, as we get updated on pre-orders price, we will be talking about all that on the show. We'll be updating all of our social media channels on that, so stay tuned. I've been wanting to talk about this for 2 weeks now.
Forever.
The train provides 1,001 cars long.
Or is it?
Or is it? We're going to find out. This is our Snowpiercer Season 1 review, and I will just do this right away. This will be a spoiler review, so now
no way to not.
There's no way to not. this is your cue to leave. If you have not watched the season finale yet, or you just haven't had time to watch the show, come back and listen later. We'll still be here. It's a podcast. It's not radio. We're here forever. It's the eternal engine.
We're perpetually here forever.
Indeed.
The perpetual pod.
I'm just going to say this right away.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love this show.
Me too.
It is my biggest shock and my new favorite show on television. I was not expecting to say that because I thought that the film was fine. It didn't blow me away. And this show is just blown me away.
Yeah, I feel like I like this show and the movie equally. Like, they're different, obviously. Like, I feel like the movie is a little more eccentric, but it proves its point in a very, like, satirical, like, obvious way that you want to happen. And then the show, I think, makes it a little more grounded and believable. Still, as weird as it can be, it's a little more like, okay, but in real life, if people really were stuck on a train, like...
This is how it would be.
This is how it is.
Yeah.
Like, the characters are a little less, like, loony. I really enjoyed this first season, and I mean, you know, when I saw the finale, I was like, watch it, I need to come over
You
your
came
house.
over my house at 11 p.m. to
11
watch it with me again.
And I left at 1 a.m.
Yep.
How about you, Matt?
I really enjoyed it as well. You know, I enjoyed the performances. It did get a little over the top at times, in my opinion, but I still very much enjoyed it and would highly recommend. I've been trying to get Heather to watch it for a while now. I'm like, you know, you should watch Snowpiercer. I think you really enjoy it, and she just hasn't gotten around to watching it.
Brittany, overall, season 1, all the way to that incredible finale.
I think the best part of the show for me was the finale. Like, the first episode got me hooked and interested. I watched, I think, the next 2 episodes, like, as they were coming out. Got busy the next week, so I was, like, behind 2 or something, but then I binged them and caught up. There were some episodes that are obviously better than others, but it's definitely a show where, like, every time they leave off an episode, you're just like, oh, what's going to happen next? Oh, great, now this is happening. Jesus Christ. But the performances are really what got me to stick around. Like, Daveed Diggs, I love his character. I love what he brings to his character. Like, he's a very obvious leader, and you believe it. But really, for me, like, Jennifer Connelly as Melanie Cavill, like, she really drives this show. And what happens in the finale where you have her actually finally, like, facing what she was dealing with, like, this regret from leaving her daughter and, like, getting on the train and getting things moving because they didn't show up on time or whatever. We'll see if that was true or not. Like, that scene alone, I was just like, oh my God, like, she is crying. I'm crying for some reason. What is happening? So
When Jennifer Connelly cries, we all cry.
the amount of tweets I've just mentioned Jennifer Connelly and while watching that show is probably embarrassing. I can probably search it. Every time I mention Snowpiercer, it's like plus Jennifer Connelly. So yeah, I love her. I audibly gasped when she took her hair down in the finale, and I even let people know about that.
Brittany wants Jennifer Connelly under the sheets.
No,
Yes.
I love her though.
Yes.
Hey, I remember in the chat, or I think
Yeah.
on Facebook, you were like, I've had this thing for Jennifer Connelly since like...
Labyrinth. But I was like a kid when I watched Labyrinth, so it's okay still.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was just like, how is she still like so pretty? I can't.
Oh my God. Matt, how about you from episode 1 all the way to the finale?
So I haven't sat down and watched the movie all the way through. I've seen like chunks of it here and there, and comparing, like, the movie to me had like more of a surreal experience of like, just like, wait, like this is like, because I remember the part when they're fighting the dudes with all the meat cleavers and such, and then the New Year's happens and everybody's like, yay, and I'm just like, wow, people are insane on this train. But the TV show, I would say, does a better job portraying like the whole, because obviously First Class wants order. They want just shut up, do your job, be happy you're on this train and are living, and so on and so forth, which obviously ties very much into modern society.
Yes.
So the one part of the show that I kind of was like, I really did, and I think I already mentioned her when we did Are You Still Watching, is LJ, the character of LJ.
Yeah.
I got really tired of her shtick, and she's like this crazy, you know, like possible psychopath or whatever. And I'm just like, I feel like this girl would have been punched in the face.
Dude,
like
she was
long
supposed
ago.
to be killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, you murdered somebody, here's the death penalty. And
And
I was like,
fucking Melanie.
thank God. And then
Yeah.
Melanie pulled a Melanie, and she's like, The engine will provide. And I'm like, motherfucker. She was just trying to appease the classes, stop class warfare.
I'll agree with you because I like the whole, like, the show opens and they get Leighton because he's an ex-cop.
Yeah.
And I like that. And I like that there is this mystery, but goddamn is she annoying.
Yeah.
You know? Just that, like, her character didn't work for me. I thought her family was great.
The
as, like,
Folgers.
The Folgers.
My favorite part was that she's the reason for the fate of her family because she's like, you should really be in that car and be a part of this because she wants them to get more powerful.
She straight up got her
She
parents
told them,
killed.
She's like, you should be there when he signs, that he's that
Yep.
they're giving up.
I think she actually wanted them to.
Do you think so? I don't think so.
No, because she's so distraught when they take over first class.
Yeah,
when Pike takes over,
She wanted them to like get power.
Well, I think it's because she doesn't realize the consequences of what she wants. Because you're like, oh yeah, I'll just because like she seems to enjoy people getting hurt, people
true.
getting messed up, and all that.
For sure.
And also, I will say this: I don't think that everybody in those cars are dead because they didn't show them dying.
Oh yeah.
I
But
disagree.
Another thing I think of is that, well, it would be really messed up if the other train picked them up.
Well, that's what
I'm
I'm
saying,
saying, right?
That's what I'm
That's
thinking
what
is
I
going to
think
happen.
Might happen, and then could you imagine? Because that police dude, like, he's a little too intense of a character, I think, for them to kill off like that. But
Oh
at
no,
the
but
same
didn't
time-
we see him straight up like get beaten to death?
I mean, he gets
He was
messed
he was
up,
just laying on the
but-
floor of in the tunnel, like he was messed up. But once again,
Yeah.
they didn't show him taking his last breath. They didn't show everybody freezing and like becoming, basically crystal
Popsicles.
people.
I
yeah.
hope they're dead, but also the show could easily be like, "Oh, you think there's only 2 people on this other train?" Plot twist that we're mentioning.
That's
now?
TV in
Yeah.
the 2000s though. If you don't see people die, then there's a good chance they're not dead. That's just TV these days. So I guess I get it. For me, listen, I agree with everything that both of you have said about Jennifer Connelly, about Daveed Diggs as Leighton. Like they're both like they carry the show. Without them, I don't think the show is nearly as good. Having said that, I got to give mad props to 2 of my favorite characters on the show. One being Allison Wright's take on Ruth Wardell. Ruthie.
Oh, she's really good.
She's so
Yeah.
good. She's so good as being that
Mr.
like
Wilford,
Mr. Wilford will provide.
I want to be the one to shake his hand.
dude.
Dude, can I tell you how much I love Daveed Diggs during
In
that,
that part,
too? And he's like,
okay,
that's cool.
yeah,
you should
I
be
want
up
you
there
to
with
be right there when the door opens.
Oh man, that was so good. And then Guts, Mike O'Malley, man.
Yes, I love Mike
really
O'Malley.
like Roche. He hasn't had a lot to do this season. I hope he does in season 2. I really like the character of Roche a lot.
I do like the Best Hill, the brakeman. I do like
Yes,
her character
she's really
as well
great as
because
well. Yeah.
you kind of see her descent from like, I'm just trying to move up, and she moves up to second class when she marries. What's her? I can't remember.
Lesbian sushi lady.
Her name
Sushi
is
Lesbian.
Susan Park.
Wow.
I don't remember the character's name.
Jinju Song is her character.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, when she marries her, and then like by the end, she's like, we have to do something. This isn't right. And you see her like when like her partner who is corrupt and soliciting sexual favors for drugs and stuff like that, and when he's beating people, she's like, this isn't right. We shouldn't be treating them like this. I enjoyed seeing her character evolve from like basically the standard hard nosed cop, like we gotta do what we gotta do to like these people deserve better from us.
Yeah. I love seeing her in the armband and like just like she really fought for like the rights of the tailies and stuff. She was just like, this whole train needs to change. Like,
It's fucked.
it was awesome.
Another character I want to briefly give credit to because I like that he's kind of on that gray line, but he's pretty much a good guy. I think his intentions in the finale, I think, were smart. Was Bennett, who plays Melanie's friend and lover.
Oh yeah.
We were talking because you had already seen it, so you kind of knew what happened. But I was like, I don't see him like what he's doing being like ill intent. Like
he was thinking resources.
he was thinking like if Melanie keeps driving this train this fast, we're gonna lose power and we're all gonna die. I have to stop this train, or I have to make them catch up to us. Which then of course leads to the big fucking reveal.
The best part.
The best part. Mr. Wilford be alive.
And Melanie's daughter.
And Melanie's daughter.
Because like him being alive is, alive is, never mind. I thought you meant the reveal of him. I was
Well,
like, that's post show.
hasn't happened.
That's post show.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. And Someone who I didn't expect to be watching the show, who was watching the show, and we've been texting back and forth, is my father-in-law. And he was like, one of the first things he said after watching the finale is like, just watch the finale. Bringing in a second train is just so cool. He really liked that aspect, and I do too. It's like you never see a second train in the movie. It's a unique thing that they've added.
Didn't I say over your house also? I'm like, if you would have told me the first episode of the show there's going to be another train, I would have said, get the fuck out. That's super stupid. I was like, but by the time the finale happened, I was like, of course there's a second train. Yes, I'm so for this.
Now let me ask you guys a question. Do you like that Melanie's daughter is alive?
Oh yeah.
It'll be an interesting dynamic because part of me was I was thinking about this a little while ago, is that how will Melanie not just be executed on the spot? Like, because she left Wilford to die, and you think that this dude would be pretty pissed off about this. But I think what's going to happen is that they're down an engineer because they have the one kid who's learning to be an engineer. So it's like, we can't, and he also has her daughter. So he's going to basically use his daughter to control her and say, I can't just get rid of you because I don't have the engineers.
I think there's a few things at play here though, because you got to think like that train is smaller. And it's also not as powerful as Snowpiercer. That's the prototype. Snowpiercer is the perfected version.
I like when it munched it though.
The rebel force, that was awesome. The rebel forces have the superior train. We also have people who are willing to like kill to, keep their freedom against. I mean, to be fair, we have no idea who's on Wilford's train.
Yeah, what he's got, because it's probably not just those two people.
You figure they're going to be armed with guns and stuff like that.
Well, Bennett keeps saying, "You know what's on that train."
Yeah,
I don't know. Melanie, I think Melanie says, "You know what's on that train." There's bad shit probably on that train.
I think she was implying about Wilford though, because I think that's what the main implication, what she was saying.
But I like that the daughter asked, like, where's Melanie Cavill? Is she still alive? Is she on the train? But, like, she's alive. She's not on the train right now. So if they go to look for her, she'll be outside, which nobody really knows. And I like how it ended, where it, like, pulled back and it went back to the animated version.
Yeah. The show came literally, how they talk about it being like a rotation, right? They've come full circle to Chicago. Like,
This is definitely one of the best show reveals, because, like, there's a lot of times, like, a character shown in a show or, like, revealed, or there's a certain plot twist, and you're like, oh, that was cool. But in recent memory, like, this is one of the biggest reactions I've had to a finale ever. Like, even if I theorized that, yeah, she's probably still alive, and that would be really cool if they came across her, especially when you first hear, like, survivors on the radio or whatever. But the reveal of her, like, for sure them being like, yes, I'm her daughter, I was like, yes, that's amazing. And then after the show...
the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Boromir...
Sean Bean. Wow.
As Mr. Wilford.
What a good Mr. Wilford.
What a great casting choice. Yeah. And not going to die anytime soon, probably.
And that's the main reason I freaked out from the finale. I was just like, what? Sean Bean? It was great.
Wait, did I miss that? I own the episode. Was that a post-credit thing, or is that
just...
Oh, yeah. God damn it.
It was, if you were watching it on, like, TV, right after the episode ended and the credits were rolling, they showed a preview for, like,
they already have a lot of season 2 film. They showed an actual trailer.
Oh, it's already in post-production right now. It's going to be out in 2021.
Okay, yeah, I bought it through my stream, because I own the entire season through my streaming service, so...
Yep, Sean Bean is Mr. Wilford.
I know. I heard about the casting choice, but I didn't know they actually showed him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the door opens, or, like, it shows him, like, walking there, and then he, like, raises his face, and you're like... And they're like, Mr. Wilford. Yeah. Sean Bean.
We need some Uruk-hai to take him out.
Or
I need 8 arrows.
Or Cersei Lannister. Oh, poor Ned.
I mean, statistically speaking, he'll probably die next season.
I don't think so.
But
I think he'll be in for at least 2 or 3 seasons.
You can't do it to him again. You can't kill him again.
he just gets shot. Mr. Wilford. Ah, crap.
But, like, that's what made me hype enough to stay up and go over your house to watch it again, because the daughter, I was like, yeah, that was an awesome finale. And then the preview, I was like, no fucking way. And, like, I was trying so hard not to, like, say it on, like, any of my social media, but I wanted to talk about it. So I was just like, oh.
The last thing I want to end with before we do our ratings is, Matt, I know you said you've only seen kind of bits and pieces of the film. What I will say is the show better than the movie? Yes or no?
I feel like it's, like, hard. I'll say I enjoy the show more than the movie. But I also really did love the movie when it came out. I told, like, everybody to watch it. So maybe I'm betraying, like, 2013 self. if that's when it came out, I think. But like, I feel like the show handles the class warfare and like the social issues a little more. Like, they both point certain themes out about like what's wrong with our society, like this is not okay. But I feel like the movie was more about like we're hacking our way through this train to take it over. It was a big thing about like humanity and the fact that this is all wrong, and you know they destroy the train in the end, and the last 2 remaining survivors that we know of walk off, and supposedly the Earth is healing again, and you know slowly melting. Maybe they'll survive. Maybe humanity will have a second chance. But like with the show, I feel like it's more like it's trickier, and they couldn't just literally hack their way off the train. Like they tried. Obviously, it's just so long, and it's a lot more like political intrigue on top of you have these class structures. You know, not all the people in the upper classes are
Bad people.
Yeah, you know, so you can't just go slaughter all, like, you know, and there's so many levels to it that I really like that sort of like intrigue, this political guessing games, all these different themes. But especially like you realize that third class doesn't have anything against the tailies either. But they, of course, also were like, ew, tailies, what?
Yeah.
But then they're like, hey, we are the workers who keep this train running. Why are you against us? And same with the brakemen. And then you're slowly seeing this whole reform or this like movement happening. And it's not just about like, we're going to hack our way up the train and it's about survival. That's it. It's more than that. They want to not only survive, but they want to change the train. They'll like, we'll keep this shit
They
going.
want to have a democracy.
Yeah, but we're going to, you know, it's a system where they want everybody to have rights. So,
Matt, I know it's probably a little bit harder for you to answer, but
I mean, just from what I've seen of the movie, I would say I enjoy the show more just because, like, I mean, pretty much what Brittany said. I do enjoy the intrigue the show has, and obviously with the TV show, you can do way more in terms of like how you develop the characters, you know, because in a movie sometimes that it's unless the movie is written extraordinarily well, like having like, you know, for like the Till character, having her become from the brakeman to revolutionary, like in a movie, you might kind of question that and be like, this is kind of sudden.
yeah, like she turns coat too quickly.
Yeah, but in the TV show, like you could draw that process out a lot more, and so I enjoy that. I mean, I already recommend the show highly to people who haven't seen it, which I don't know a lot of people who've watched the show.
I don't either.
I really don't.
But when you find them, you really know.
yeah. I'm just going to basically piggyback off what you guys said. It's really hard in 2 hour, however long the original film is, to world build, right? And then a lot of the problems that movie adaptations into TV run into is that it's just never faithful, or it doesn't do a good job doing that transition from film to television. Snowpiercer does that and then some, right? Like Snowpiercer has built a world, which is hard to do, right? Because they're not in the world. They're on the fucking train, and yet they've managed to build a awesome world with lore and I just said her favorite word with lore and really well thought out characters and great twists and turns, great sets.
Yeah,
like
really
the train
cool
is
set
fucking
design.
cool. Like the train was fine in the movie, it was cool, there's some cool stuff. I think they've done better with the television series. So I love the series more than the movie. It is, like I said, my favorite new series on television, which leads us to our EIP score out of 5 train cars.
I was going to say 1,001.
Out of 1,001 train cars.
984 trains long. I will give it 5 out of 5, just because the finale really solidified it for me. If they maybe would have had a weaker finale, I probably would have given it 4 out of 5. Like, this is interesting, but like I need something to hook me. But they gave a really good hook at the end. The characters that are remaining, I think I'm excited to see where they're going to go. Because, you know, you got David Diggs, who was trying to run a democracy, but now you got literally not even a wrench in the chain. You got like another train on you.
You got a train on the train.
On a train.
You have the literal return of the king.
And
Sup, dog? I heard you like trains, so I brought this train so you could train while you train.
Oh, God. And then you have like Melanie, who was, you know, even if like she had power and control, and that just slowly was being taken away and slipping away from her. Now you're just kind of like, where is this even going to go? The people on the other train also are like, where's Melanie? We got words.
How's Melanie going to get back on the train?
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt.
I'm also going to give it a 5 out of 5. It was a very good watch. I really enjoyed it. And, like Brittany said, like the hook at the end of the season, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it. And that's, if the TV show can basically make me say, I want to see more of this, then, that's what I can ask for.
Yep. 5 out of 5 train cars with a little bit of that Mr. Wilford Industries hospitality.
That reminds me.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to point out the very last part where the door is opening. Do you notice how once again it changed? But this time it changed from an M to a W.
Yes. Power has, yes.
So in like the first or second episode of the show, they showed Melanie have the Wilford pin that was flipped upside down, like probably by accident, but it's like a subtle thing being like, oh, she's really Mr. Wilford. She's in power, because they reveal at the end of the first episode. And then at the end, as it's turning, it's at an M, and then it turns to a W finally. And you're like, shit, Wilford is on the other side.
Yep.
Symbolism. Love it.
Such a great show. If you have not watched Snowpiercer, you can get it on streaming. Which streaming service do you own it on, Matt?
I bought it on Vudu.
So it's available on Vudu. You can watch it on TNT on demand. I'm sure there will be a Blu-ray release very soon. I can't wait for season 2, guys. It's going to be a blast.
It's a show I'll definitely buy.
Yeah,
I think.
for sure. Yeah, I'll get a steelbook of Snowpiercer for sure.
I hope it's like got the train. Wait, I wonder how many seasons it might be. What if by the end there's only like 5 cars and it was 5 seasons, and then there's been 5 cars all along? I'm thinking ahead. I'm really excited. Sorry.
Damn.
What if they know? I feel like they know.
They probably know. They probably know. They probably have a plan. That does it for this mega edition of Everything is Permitted. We will be back next week. For Brittany, for Matt, I'm Julian. Have a good night.
You can find Everything is Permitted on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Everything is Permitted is produced by Rob Migliaccio, Nikki Veazey, and Geneva Stein-Shivers. Our executive producers are Michael Cox, Brittany Tomes and the Tomes family, and Julian Brown.